Good morning, Internet. My name is the Topical Herb, and today I'm here to talk about an issue that's not on Sky News, but is actually very dear to my heart. Now, before I start about this video, I want to just say, if you have any thoughts on this or any opinions or anything, feel free to share, comment, and leave messages down below, because due to Sky News, I don't know how many people see these videos. So I need you to feedback to me, because I want to hear what you think and what you want to say. Today's video, or the second video in this series of 3 that I'm doing, is based on mental health in young people. Now, I don't know if I've already mentioned it, but I'm going to say it here anyway. This episode may be a little bit emotional for me, because I'm actually a very heavy recoverer of anxiety and depression. And during the years, I have suffered from numerous panic attacks. I have suffered from numerous anxiety-based problems. I have been medicated. I have gone for counselling, and I have received help. And to pass a few answers, no, I'm currently not well. I have to take my medication, otherwise I do notice severe mood swings. I do notice problems. Yes, I do still have to take part in daily life. It does have to go on. Fortunately, my medication is covered by the NHS, so it's a standard 2-month prescription I take. I have pills for panic attacks, and a standard pill I take every day to keep my mood swings in check. So, what do I have? Well, I don't have anything. This is what I'm trying to get at. There's this preconceived notion that if you've got anxiety or you've got depression, you've got something. There is something that you have. It's going to be a specific problem, but in truth, a lot of the time, it's not. A lot of the time, people who have anxiety and depression don't have a problem. They have issues, more like things that are wrong. So, to give you a few examples of things that I've had wrong, before I was medicated, I used to not be able to get out of bed in the morning some days. You've probably had days where you've not wanted to get out, but I physically couldn't. I would not have the drive for the day. I couldn't face people. I couldn't face the idea of seeing people. I couldn't face the idea of talking to people. It really scared me down to my core to actually go and have to know I had to interact with people. I was genuinely scared. This is shocking to a lot of people because I actually used to be very active. I'm a person who's very outspoken and very goes out and does a lot of things. You know, I'm not a person who's normally shy, but honestly, my anxiety would cause me to be. My anxiety would cause me to regress. And it was really difficult, especially when you're at university and you know you have to go for lectures and you can't get out of bed because you can't face the day. That's really hard. The next thing that happened to me is I had to look at medication and I had to look at getting help. And that, again, was very hard for a person to admit. You know, you had to go and get... I personally had a long time of going on and off medication because I was genuinely... It's hard to admit something's wrong. You know, we all don't want to think that we're broken. We don't want to think that there's things wrong with us. But at the end of the day, you have to accept that sometimes there is some stuff which is wrong with you. And I did have problems with my anger, with my mood swings, with my depression bouts. I still suffer, like I said beforehand. My medication controls a lot of my panic attacks and it controls a lot of my depression spirals. I'm now on a much evener plate, but there was... The easiest way to describe it is there were triggers for me, things which just cause me to either have a bad day or just send me out of the depth. I can't cope. For example, if I go into a classroom, I freak out. I really get uncomfortable. I get very quiet. I get very twitchy. I get angry. I get anxious. I get unable to do things. I know I can do it, but I can't do it here. I don't want to be around these people. I like the people, even if I'm there. I can be doing something that's really interesting, and I can still suffer, and I hate myself because of it. I get really angry because you don't want to be mad. You want to be able to do this thing that you love. I like learning, but I can't sit in a classroom. I fall asleep. I get anxious. And for anyone who says, oh, have you tried this or that? Yes, I have. I've tried so many things to keep me awake in these lectures and keep me awake in lessons, and I can't. I freak out to the point where I just collapse. And I just get exhausted. I've ran out of lecture halls beforehand. And you feel like a mess up. You feel really genuinely screwed up in yourself because you know it's not normal. You know it's not right. You know something's wrong with you and you don't want to talk about it. Because despite people being more understanding, there is still stigma. There is still prejudice. There's still ideas that you're not alright. And you know what? It's okay. I'm not angry at people for not understanding. Because if you've never been through it, you don't understand it. And to go through it regularly, you do start to learn, you do start to understand it, you do start to see it. I have personally a lot of amazing people in my life who, even if they don't understand it, are very supportive of me despite it. And I have a great network of friends. I have good pages on the internet where I can go and talk and express my problems. I try and help out people with their problems because, you know, that makes me feel better about mine. But it's still a real problem. And it's something that's very personal to me, and a lot of people go through it, and even more young people go through it. And you feel at this age like you've got the weight of the world on your shoulders anyway. You have to do well at school, you have to make the right friends, you have to be happy, you have to understand money because you don't get enough of it. And then you have this problem of you're feeling depressed as well. Now, sometimes it's just teenage angst. I'm not going to say that some of my problems weren't due to being a teenager, being angsty and having problems. Perfectly normal. You know, everyone goes through it and everyone should get help with it. But you know what? It's normal. What I'm talking about is genuinely anxiety that causes problems in your life, anxiety that causes problems in your day. And that doesn't fade sometimes, and sometimes you have to realise it's a part of you. So this is where it comes into a young adult's life. So now I've left uni, and first of all, you may say, what about your medication? Well, I've had up and downwards patches with it. I've had good medication, which I'm on now, which really improved my quality of life. But then again, in the process of trying to get here, I've had bad medication. Medication that's made me feel really bad. Medication that's actually made me feel worse. So it's not as easy and clean cut as it looks. Now, to get onto a topic about politics with this, what do I think can be done about it? I would like to see... I don't know. I don't know what I'd like to see. I feel talking about it's the best way to get people to understand it, but I don't feel that I should put pressure on people to learn about it. I don't feel it's my place to make them have to understand the ins and outs of my problems, because frankly, if you haven't got them, good for you. You're living a better life than I do, and you're living a better time than I do, and I'm really glad that you don't have to go through this. And to those who do go through it, I want you to know that you're not alone. That this isn't all just on you. You know, millions of people go through this. You know, I have to go to work, and I have to... When I apply for jobs, for example, I don't mention this. Because while I know I'm a qualified, intelligent young man, there's always a chance that if you've got two people in a room, one's got anxiety, one hasn't, which one are you going to pick? Both the same candidates in quality, one's got anxiety, one hasn't. One's bound to have some bad patches, one's not. You know, you're going to choose the healthy one. It's like if you had a job where someone had to move fast, who are you going to pick? If both people run at the same speed and one's got one leg or one's got two, okay, that's a bad example, but you know what I mean. You're going to pick the person who's more suited for the job based on your initial judgments. The other person maybe, but you don't want to make yourself seem any less of a candidate by advertising your faults. And it is a fault, but it's not a debilitating thing. You can overcome it, and you can get through it, and you can live a good life with it. What I'm trying to say is, this is my problems. These are my anxieties. These are my depressions. These are my history. I'd like to talk more about it. I think that it does help. As a young, anxious man who is medicated and who is doing all right with his life, who basically had a lot of problems at uni because of panic attacks, and who's had a very difficult time when he was younger and basically stops talking about a lot of it, you know, it's a good thing to talk about. So yeah, that's my video on mental health with me. Gives you a bit more insight into me and how I function. I hope it's been helpful, and I look forward to bringing you another 2 videos. I'm hopefully going to do another video later today, and potentially another video after this on the job centre, which should be interesting for some of you, because I'd like to explain my interactions with them, which were actually surprisingly good. Alright, I've been Topical Herb, and this has been my video today on mental health. See you guys later.